presented by Miller Lite. Grab yourself a great tasting, low-carb Miller Lite. There's the main entrance to the Pala Casino Resort in the Temecula Valley here in Southern California. The crowd anticipating Verno Phillips and Julio Garcia. But first, they get a look at an unbeaten prospect. Little up-and-coming talent here in Carlos Quintana as he takes on Edwin Cassiani. And there's Quintana, 27 years old, from Puerto Rico. His career was on hold after he sat out a Don King promotional contract. You see his record there, 15-0 with 12 knockouts. Among his 12 knockouts, you'll see 3 of them have come in his last 5 fights. Most recently, you may recall he took out Candy Robertson. That was on our show in the Virgin Islands. It was a sloppy fight. But Quintana was able to overcome Candy's tactics. Here's 31-year-old Edwin Cassiani, former Olympian from Colombia. He represented them in the Barcelona game. 6'1", 4 inches taller than Quintana. Now 26-3 with 22 knockouts. And you may look askance at his last 5. The doubt lies in the padding of the record against Gerald Reed twice in that span. Reed is 17-36-4. Here's Pat Russell, and it's a 10-rounder.
Right here, buena suerte, 10 rounds, come out of the bell.
The ring experience between Quintana and Cassiani. 29 fights to 15 fights for Edwin. Teddy, the spin from the Edwin Cassiani camp is that he's been knocked out 3 times, but those knockouts came when he was starving himself to make weight. Those 3 losses happened at junior welterweight. Since he's moved up to full welterweight in 1999, he's 9-0, came in at 148.5 tonight.
His chin is a question. We're going to have to find out. But one of his best wins was also against an undefeated southpaw, 14-0, Luis Collazo from New York. So, he's been in a position where he's had success against what he's in front of now. As you can see, Quintana, a southpaw. He knows he can beat a southpaw. As I said, also an undefeated southpaw. So if this business is 75% mental, which I believe it is, that's got to be a nice boost for Cassiani, whether he's been knocked out 3 times or not, which he has.
Speaking of knockouts, 11 of the 34 knockouts that these fighters have combined for have come in the first round. Quintana trying to come with the left hand as Cassiani returns fire.
What Quintana's trying to do, the southpaw, is move and keep Cassiani from being set to punch. Giving him a little bit movement, trying to get an angle, trying to get a clear path to come in.
Both fighters did have extensive amateur careers. Cassiani was an Olympian in '92. Quintana made the Puerto Rican '96 Summer Games, but an elbow injury kept him from attending.
Cassiani is built like a puncher. Tall, wiry, lean. Those guys usually get good leverage in their punches, and therefore they're able to put it together with power. You look at guys like Carlos Zarate, the great bantamweight champ. Tall, skinny guy, looked like he needed a meal. Bob Foster, the former great light heavyweight champ. Tall and lean. Alexis Arguello, Luke Jenkins, if you go back far enough, the great lightweight champ who could punch like a son of a gun. All tall, thin guys. Cassiani fits that bill.
How about a guy that's going tomorrow night, Diego Corrales, taking on Joe Casamayor. A lot of power at 130 pounds with Chico.
Very up-to-date example, very good example.
Brian Kenny, of course, will be talking lots about the super matchup at 130 pounds. And early on here, Carlos Quintana scores. Under a minute to go in the first round. And a well-placed left hand puts Cassiani down.
Looked like it was set up by the right hand, but what it was really set up was the movement. You see, Quintana was moving, and then all of a sudden he stepped in. And the way Cassiani was complaining, pointing to the referee with his glove to the head.
Yeah, I'm not sure a head didn't come in, Teddy.
That's what he was trying to say to the referee. He was trying to say that wasn't a punch, that was a headbutt. We'll get the benefit later of looking at the replay and finding out. But all that matters is it was scored as a knockdown, and Quintana's in the lead.
So Pat Russell marks it down as a knockdown in round number 1. And Carlos Quintana, the unbeaten prospect, is off to a good start.
I don't let pain interfere with my life. When I'm working with the kids and my knees hurt, I take genuine Bayer aspirin. Bayer stops the pain. Bayer works great on all kinds of pain. And it can do even more. Genuine Bayer aspirin can help save your life when taken during a heart attack. No other pain reliever can do so much. Not Advil, not Tylenol. I've made Bayer a part of my life, so I can live my life.
Bayer. Take it for pain, take it for life.
Oh, no. Two-pump chump.
In 1997, I retired for the 5th time.
Wake up.
Here's the history repeating itself.
Everlast, the shape of things to come.
Sliding in your right-hand corner, you're going to see what was scored a knockdown. Really came from the head. See Quintana, he was moving, and all of a sudden he jumped in with a right hook to the body. The head lands, not the left hand. The head lands right on the chin of Cassiani. Cassiani was right. He said it was the head, but the referee's right, too. He went down, and right now it's a 10-8 round and lead for Quintana.
What was so deceiving there, I think, Teddy, is the fact that the head gave the same motion as the left hook. So it almost looked like it was the cause of the left hook. But nonetheless, you see the punches in round number 1, where Quintana landed as many punches as Cassiani threw, 11.
Well, right now it's obvious to me that Quintana has a difficult style. He likes to be defensive-minded. He doesn't take a lot of chances. He lets you take chances. If you walk in, he's looking to count all the time. He moves, and then he jumps in with punches very unexpectedly. Can be a very difficult, very awkward style to deal with. And right now, Cassiani following him around, needs to be set to punch, having a lot of trouble with the style and movement of Quintana. Right now, it's style versus a big body. Style of Quintana versus a guy with a nice big body in Cassiani, who's looking to land something, but he needs the opportunity, which he almost got there, for Quintana to stay in front of him. If I had a fighter coming up, I would not want to put him in with Quintana right now, just because of the style, nothing else. Very difficult style, very unorthodox. Lets you take all the chances there, Joe. He's waiting for you to come in, he'll counter you. If you stay outside, he'll tap you a little with the jab, and then when you don't expect it, he does that. He jumps right in. Cassiani at a big disadvantage right now because he needs to be set to punch. Right now what he's trying to do, it looks like these guys' heads are coming in to play quite a bit because of the jumping in of Quintana. Don't be surprised if you see a cut somewhere along the line in this fight from a clash of heads. But what Cassiani's trying to do is time Quintana as he jumps in. See Cassiani, he's stalking. He needs to use that jab to take away those pot shots of Quintana. While he's stalking, Quintana's looking to beat him to the punch. Cassiani needs to use that long jab.
Used it moments ago as Quintana tried to come in and gain some real estate. Teddy made a good point, the awkward southpaw as he lunges in. Boy, those heads have been coming really close.
Well, you can see why. Again, Quintana, when he jumps in, his head gets ahead of the rest of his body. His legs are not under him. He's out of control. He's head first, and he's a little bit of a weapon with that skull.
Straight left hand from way outside.
Stop jumping on the bed. Stop jumping on the bed.
You'd be happy too if you saved up to 75% on your hotel. Fly, sleep, drive cheap.
Shaving is like football. Defense is the name of the game. Neutrogena Razor Defense Shave Gel. I wouldn't shave without it. Neutrogena Razor Defense.
Last week on Dream Job, 6 more finalists faced the heat.
Whoa! Sometimes you gotta dig deep.
Come on now, Stu knows your boy. You could say it.
Put a little honey on my toes.
Little cliche, not that original.
You look like a sportscaster. 3 words. Cut your hair. The competition was tight. You were funny. Wow. But someone had to go.
I did not think that was good enough.
You've been cut. This week, 10 remain. 2 will be cut, and your vote counts.
It's go time.
Dream Job, Sunday at 10 on ESPN. Who will be cut next?
Our opening bout on Friday Night Fights, Carlos Quintana and Edwin Cassiani coming to you from the Pala Casino Resort. Joe Tessitore and Teddy Atlas with you ringside. Brian Kenny with all the boxing news and nuggets back in the studio. 10 rounds of welterweights here to start us off. Carlos Quintana out to a good start, landing 14 of 71 punches in that last round. Unbeaten southpaw looking to stay that way. Lands a left hand and follows it up.
Quintana's style is to pick spots, and he picks them when it's good for him, bad for you, and that's what Quintana's doing right now. When you're finished punching, he jumps right on you.
Inside work, right hand does damage, and a left hand comes down Cassiani.
Quintana has good instinct. He knew that he had an opportunity to pour it on. He jumped in, he poured it on, and right now he can celebrate.
46 seconds of round number 2, and the unbeaten Carlos Quintana gets the statement win he was looking for.
Well, Cassiani, we talked about his chin. Well, we got a little bit of an answer to it right there. He was knocked out 3 times coming into this fight. Make it 4 now. And give Quintana credit. He fought his fight, a very, very difficult style. He didn't allow Cassiani, who's built like a puncher, but never got a chance to unload like a puncher. Kept Cassiani moving, kept him changing his feet, never let him get set to punch, and Quintana picked his spots beautifully.
All right, let's take a look at round number 2 and Carlos Quintana's right hand there, Teddy.
He finished with the hook, and then for good measure, he came back with the left hand. That's the benefit of putting punches together in combination punching. There's the right hook, and then he comes right back with the left hand just for good measure. And Cassiani, as we said, who had been knocked out 3 times, goes down for the 4th time. Quintana putting together at the right time, doing a good job of finishing when he had his opponent hurt.
46 seconds into round number 3, and Carlos Quintana putting the punches together, landing 40 of 164 and 14 power connects in that finishing 3rd round. He moves to 16-0, of course, still to come tonight. A fight that may shake up the rankings. Top contender Vernal Phillips takes on world-rated Julio, the Cuban lover Garcia. That's coming up in our main event. Now for the rest of the happenings in the boxing biz, let's send it back to Brian Kenny. BK?
Joe, thank you very much. Quintana with a tremendous combination there. Now to the top stories in boxing. We'll have Teddy in just a moment. It is possible for a fighter to leave in his prime at the elite level and never come back. It's just that it's never happened before. Felix Trinidad retired at the age of 29, back at the age of 31. Former world champion at welterweight and junior middleweight made it official this week. He is coming back, and he did so at a Don King news conference along with heavyweights John Ruiz and Freza Kendo announcing their fight. Said he has no plans on a tune-up, going right for Sugar Shane Mosley in the fall, dragging the junior middleweight champ up to 160 pounds with him.
Pero aquí estoy de nuevo y quiero decirle que Tito Trinidad regresa al boxeo nuevamente.
But I'm here now, and I want to tell you that Tito Trinidad is coming back to boxing.
Well, Shane Mosley with a super fight on the horizon finds himself in the same spot as Ricardo Mayorga when Mayorga was negotiating a super fight with Mosley. Mayorga, the welterweight champ, never got that fight after being upset by Corey Spinks. Mosley has a tough title defense next week against Winky Wright. So now everybody wants to be a middleweight. Oscar De La Hoya moves up, going on tour this week to hype his super fight in September with the middleweight champion of the world.